So listen to me. Listen to me. CNN put on a presidential debate. The presidential debate was 90 minutes. The candidates were Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Joe Biden was there to participate in a presidential debate earnestly. He was there to let the American people know what he had done for the American people as he served the presidency for the past 3.5 years. And he was there to let the American people know the plans that he had should he be elected in the future. He was there earnestly to answer questions for the American people so that they know the type of candidate that he is. The other candidate, Donald Trump, was there to scam the people. The other candidate, former President Donald Trump, was there to rapid fire lie after lie after lie. And CNN, who hosted the presidential debate, did nothing to rebut or fact check those lies. CNN, who is a major news outlet, did nothing to fact check the lies, did nothing to let the American people know what it was that Donald Trump was doing and saying. They did nothing during that 90-minute presidential debate where 51 million people watched. All eyes were on the debate. They did nothing to fact check the lies. They let former President Donald Trump lie to the American people and scam the American people. And then after the debate, when all eyes were no longer on CNN, this is what CNN put out.
The Trump list, it is way, way longer. So deep breath. He said some Democratic states allow people to execute babies after birth, an egregious lie that is illegal in every state. He said everybody, even Democrats, wanted Roe v. Wade overturned. Roe was supported by 2/3 of Americans, even more Democrats. He said every legal scholar wanted Roe overturned, abortion returned to the states. Legal scholars have told me directly this is not true. He said the U.S. currently has the biggest budget deficit ever. No, that happened under Trump in 2020. He said the U.S. currently has a record trade deficit with China that also happened under Trump in 2018. He said Biden personally gets a lot of money from China. Zero evidence of this. He said there were no terror attacks during his presidency. In fact, there were multiple attacks. He said Iran didn't fund Hamas, Hezbollah, other terror groups under his presidency. Iran, in fact, did. He said Biden wants to quadruple people's taxes. That is pure fiction. He said the U.S. has provided way more aid to Ukraine than Europe had. It's actually the opposite. He said the U.S. has provided about $200 billion in Ukraine aid. It's closer to $110 billion. He said 18 or 19 million people have crossed the border under Biden. That is millions too high. He said many of these migrants are from prisons or mental institutions. His own campaign cannot corroborate this. He said Biden has only created jobs for illegal immigrants. Total nonsense. He said Nancy Pelosi turned down his offer of 10,000 National Guard troops on January 6th. There's no evidence she even got such an offer. It was the president, not Pelosi, who had the power to deploy the D.C. Guard. He said Pelosi now acknowledges she turned down the troops. Now her office tells me this claim is still a lie. He said he deployed the National Guard to Minneapolis in 2020. Actually, that was the Democratic governor. He spoke of, quote, ridiculous fraud in the 2020 election. Zero evidence of any widespread fraud. He said NATO was going out of business before he took office. Completely, clearly absurd. He said the U.S. was paying 100% of NATO before he came along. The U.S. made up about 71% of NATO defense spending, not 100. He said he, not Biden, is the one who lowered insulin prices in Medicare. He did it for some seniors, but Biden did it for far more. He said Biden indicted him. Again, no evidence Biden has had a personal role in any of these 4 prosecutions. He said Europe takes no U.S. cars, just not true. He spoke of food prices quadrupling under Biden. That's a wild exaggeration, though they are up. He said Biden made up the idea he called debt service members suckers and losers. No, the Atlantic magazine reported that, and then former Trump chief of staff John Kelly corroborated it. He said Biden called black people, quote, super predators for 10 years. Biden never once deployed that phrase, let alone for 10 years, though he did at least once speak of, quote, predators without specifying it was about black people. He said his Trump tax tax cut was the largest in U.S. history. Not true, though, in fairness. Biden also said this. Trump said China and others stopped buying from Iran under him. China never stopped. He revived his pet lie. I don't know how many times I've done it, that he signed the Veterans Choice Program into law. Barack Obama did that in 2014. Trump signed an expanded version in 2018. And finally, Trump said Biden got rid of that Veterans Program. Biden has not done that.
That's right. After 51 million viewers turned away from CNN, after the debate, CNN decided to do a small segment to fact check Donald Trump. And that is the list of lies that Donald Trump told during the debate. And I guarantee you that if it wasn't because of the backlash that the CNN hosts Dana Bash and Jack Tapper were receiving along with CNN, they wouldn't have played that segment. They wouldn't have played it. But the damage had been done. They allowed Donald Trump to rapid fire lies throughout that debate and dance around questions, never really answering questions. The damage had been done because no one was watching CNN after the fact. Now, you may have heard it because there's so many people out there talking about this debate technique called Gish Gallop. And basically what Gish Gallop is, it is one candidate who's participating in a debate, or one participant in a debate that's just rapidly telling lies. So much so that it overwhelms the contender of that debate. In this case, it would have been Joe Biden. So much so that he is unable to rebut all of the lies. I mentioned in the live that I did this morning, that's what Donald Trump was doing. I didn't know there was a name for it. Donald Trump didn't have to focus on telling truth about what he did while he was in office, because he can't remember what he did while in office. He didn't have to focus on telling the American people what his plans were for them should he be reelected, because he has no plan for the American people should he be reelected. So the strategy was to rattle off lies to overwhelm Joe Biden, and do it so fast and so crazily that it would be difficult for Joe Biden to rebut every single lie that was told. It's called Gish Gallop. Barb McQuade is the one who started this conversation on Gish Gallop. Barb McQuade, she's a former U.S. attorney. And she is currently a legal analyst over on MSNBC and for NBC. So what Donald Trump and his campaign team did, they conned the American people yet again. They had no real intentions of standing before the American people to talk about what it was that they did under the Trump presidency that was successful, because Donald Trump can't remember that, and there was no such thing. They had no intentions of talking to the American people about the plans that they have for them should he become president again, because he has none. Their whole purpose at that debate was to get Donald Trump in front of the camera to lie to the American people. It was a con game, and CNN was in on the con.